Guy in Miami is walking along the beach. He's got a great tan. The only part of his body that's not tanned is right between his legs. So he digs a big hole in the sand, covers himself up with the sand, leaves his penis out, puts a towel on his face, and he's sunbathing. Two Jewish ladies walk past. One of them says, "Look, Blanche. In my 20s, I was afraid of it. In my 30s, I couldn't get enough of it. Now look, it's growing wild." I'd like to dedicate this show to my dad. We're very close, Dad and I. Last year, he took me on holiday, just the two of us. Wow. Not exactly the vacation that I would have picked. Actually, it was a tour of Eastern European death camps. And of course, being a comedian, I decided to do a show about it. Is everybody comfortable? A lot of my empathy went to my father. As a child, knowing that something miraculous had occurred, and that he didn't have anybody except us. And so I spent a lot of time trying to be many, many, many people to him. His mother, his father, his aunts and uncles, his cousins. Everything that he needed to be, I was multi-personality, which I think actually in some ways is significant now because of the number of characters that I do in my show. My Uncle Lizzie's obsessed with death. I can't believe he died. He was like a brother to me. What? Nobody died? Somebody's gonna die. And when they do, Mum's side of the family, on the other hand, is more German, less flamboyant. Negative? What do you mean I'm negative? The fact that the Ottoman Empire was crushed, and our family had a little villa outside of Spain, and it was taken away, and today it's worth millions of dollars, that doesn't matter. But I'm not negative. Look, it's Zelda. Say hello to Zelda. Oh, it's so hot in here, Debbie, darling. Do me a favor. Give me something cold. Give me a little bit of that cold chicken. Sometimes people would say to me, "What's that number on your father's arm? Is it his phone number?" And I'd say, "No. He was in a concentration camp." And they'd say, "What's that?" I'd say, "Well, there were all these Nazis and they put them in this place and it was really horrible." And they'd go, And they'd go off and play, leaving me sort of wondering about it myself. I was the only Jew at Mount Roskill Primary School. While they were all reading The Cat in the Hat, I was reading The Diary of Anne Frank. I love visits to the library. Excuse me, have you got any good books with a 30s setting? Anything more about girls trapped in attics? But no, the shelves were crammed full of Peter Cottontails and Jemima Puddle Ducks tunneling under Farmer McGregor's fences, but the fences weren't electrified. There were no watchtowers, no German shepherds. Call that adventure? You can always tell a conversation between two children of survivors. Okay, Runya, so I'll pick you up outside the American Airlines terminal at 6. Fine, Helenka, and listen, if by chance I'm not there, check the information counter. I'll leave a message there under your name. Fine, leave a message there under my name and leave another one under your name just in case they lose it or something. Sure, okay, and listen, if God forbid you get held up in traffic or you get a flat tire, don't worry, I'll wait for you by the carousel till 8. 8:30 better? Make it 9. But I'll be there all going well. I only live 15 minutes from the airport. And it all came alive to me through these photographs, but there's so many dead Jews lying and Nazis screaming, and Dad would talk about it a lot. This is the page that I look at all the time, elderly Polish Jews guarded by armed German soldiers are forced to dig their own graves. And then you tell me that you had to dig mass graves and you had to... You remember you told me about some people who were buried in the snow and a year later you had to go back and unbury them?
Yes.
Where was that, outside Krakow?
That was now outside my little town, a place called Denów.
I felt so guilty for not being there, you know, which it seems crazy to say. You know, why would anybody say something like that? But that, I think you've interviewed children of survivors, you find that it's quite a common thing, that the memories are very vivid for some of us that actually didn't exist. And a lot of us say things like, I'm going back to Poland. Never been to Poland. I'm going back to the camps. Never been to the camps. But it's a very real place in here. One day he was about to explode. You're an ungrateful little girl! And I mimicked his laugh. And I made one of his gestures. Well, look, that's me. What do you know? That's me. That's when I learned I could make him laugh. What's that? That was the gypsy camp. Look, Dad, that sign says selection point. Yeah. That's where I was selected by Mengele. And you can see over there the gas chambers and the crematoria. There were trees, flowers, a dusty road. It was quite pretty. It wasn't horrible like I'd imagined. It was what went on inside that was so horrible. I started to cry, but I stopped myself. I thought, I can't cry now. I've got 3 camps to go. If I start crying now, it's all over. Listen, thanks for coming with me. I'm glad that you're here. I couldn't have come alone. I don't think I'll be coming back to that place. Would you like me to buy you a souvenir, darling? No, Dad. I'm going to the toilet. Well, don't be too long. I got locked in here once before. I don't want to get locked in again.